बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम टू एवरीवन। और आज हम जो सीरीज स्टार्ट करने लगे हैं वो है CSS के हवाले से कि CSS क्या होती है। मुकम्मल सीरीज को जो है या जिसको बोले मुकम्मल कोर्स जो है वो इंग्लिश में होगा। तो इसको स्टार्ट करते हैं। आ जाएं और देखते हैं कि CSS किस तरह डिज़ाइनिंग करती है वेब पेजेस में और किस तरह मदद बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है वेब पेजेस को बनाने के लिए। तो चलिए देखते हैं पहली। CSS for beginners. This course only for those who are really do not know a little bit about CSS. In this course we learn a lot of things. After watching this video, I hope you will complete change your views relating the web designing. So it's so important. Think that the CSS play an important role in our web pages designing. And it's a mostly used and a common use in our web pages in the combined of HTML and XML like this. And these are the some really important points we are just discussed before we are starting our series. So we are only guide you how to think like a designer, but always it's up to you how you will take it. So it's an important thing that we only provide a way to you to how to think like it as a designer. So keep practice much more, so you will be easily learn the CSS. And one is important note that the game is ideas, not the programming. Basically this game is only ideas. So if you have a better idea, so we provide a way how you will achieve your goal. And I truly said, I just written here that the practice makes a man perfect. So before wasting our time, we are just starting and see the what CSS and how it's working in web designing. So what is the CSS basically? Here is a short definition of CSS. CSS called the cascading style sheet. CSS cascading style sheet, fondly referred to as CSS, is a simple designing language intended to simplify the process of making web pages presentable. With the help of CSS, you can control the structure of web pages. So it's really very much important because the CSS handles the look and feels a part of web pages. Using the CSS, you can control the color of text, style of fonts, the spacing between the paragraphs, how columns are sized and laid out. So the what background images colors are you currently using in your web pages, layout designs, variations in the display for the different devices and screens sizes, as well as a variety of the other effects. So here is the advantage of the CSS. So what the advantage? CSS saves the time. How saves the time? Let's suppose you can write a CSS once and then reuse same sheet in a multiple HTML pages. You can define a style for each HTML element and apply to as many web pages as you want. So CSS saves your time. The second thing is the page load faster. How the page load faster? If you are using CSS, you do not need to write an HTML tag attributes every time. So just write a one CSS rule of a tag and apply it to the all occasioners that tag. So the less code means the faster download times. So it's a page loader faster, you're easy to maintain. Yes, exactly. To the make a global change, simply change the style and all elements in all web pages will be updated automatically. So it's easy to maintain. Superior style to HTML. Why it's a superior style to? Because the CSS has much wider array of attributes than HTML. So you can give a far better look to your HTML page in the comparison of HTML attributes. So multiple device compatibility. So multiple style sheets allows you the content to be the optimized for the more than one type of the device by using the same HTML document. So the different version of website can be presented for handle devices such as a PDA, cell phones, or printing devices, or something else. So it's a multiple device compatibility and the global web standards. Now HTML attributes are being desperate and is being the recommended to use CSS. So it's a good idea to start using CSS all HTML pages to make them compatible for the future browsers. Offline browsing, of course, CSS can store web applications and locally with the help of an offline cache. Like so using of this, we can view a offline website to cache, also ensure the faster loading and the better overall performance of the website. So it's offline browsing also. So platform independence, and the last one is the what's the platform. The script, we are just say the script offer consists the platform independence, and you can support the latest browser as well. So it's and this is the short introduction about CSS, and now we are starting that what the CSS syntax basically. So here is a selector. A CSS comprises or style or rules that are interpreted by the browser and then applied to a corresponding elements like in your document. Okay, so a style rule is made in the three parts, and here is the three parts. The number one is a selector. Selector is an HTML tag. Selector an HTML tag, yeah, at which style will be applied to could be any tag like as a h1 table or other than. So the selector may be HTML tag or defined class or a defined ID. Yes, exactly. A property, what's the property? A property is a type of attribute of HTML tag put simply, and all the HTML attributes are converted into the CSS properties. They could be color or border or ADC. So this is the property. And third one is the value. What's the value? Value are assigned to properties. For example, a color property can be a value like as a red, so it's a double F, it's 0000, it's color coding, as we already discussed in our HTML in detail what's the RGB. So and now we are see the what is the types of selectors. So this is a universal selector, number one, class selector, ID selector, child selector, attribute selector, and grouping selector. So here we are just taken introduction, already taken introduction, and now we are moved to see how it's a work and what is the selector. So here I simply created HTML pages like h1, h2, and the paragraph, anchor, paragraph again, and some is I just defined a class and ID. So here is the main CSS. So first of all, we are just seeing the what is the universal selector. A universal selector, this universal selector we are using in HTML by passing or by using the star sign. This is called the universal selector. And okay, sorry, so I have just comment this line, and this is a universal selector. It means it applies on the all web page, all of your content here. So here we see an example that the selector and open in browser and Mozilla Firefox, and you will see here all text like as the color is blue, set the blue color because the universal selector color is here blue. If we are just change here from red, so you will see the result, and results here all text color will be updated as a in the red color. So here is the selector, the universal selector is the example. And the second thing is a class selector. And second thing is a class selector. What's the class selector and class selector? How to define? Class selector defined with the dot sign. Where is the red class? We define here the red class. This class is selector. This is a class selector example. So I set the color the red, and you will see here is a red color select, and when I just going and apply here, this is only applies on the class selector. You will see the all text is normally or by default is black, but this is the class selector only highlighted in this. So we are just set the class red on this basically paragraph, so that's why it's works on only this class. So okay, so second thing is what the class and what's the id selector, and we are already set an example. This is the id selector example. We are just uncomment this and save it and refresh, and you will see result here. The text of this is the id selector example will be updated and set as color the yellow because we set here the yellow, and if we are just set in other color like this, so you will be see result here is updated automatically. So this is the example of a class, sorry, id selector, and third one is a child selector. So what is the child selector? So it is an important thing to learn that the child selector, you have seen the selectors, all selectors like a universal, and this is one more type of selector which is a very similar to a class or something else, but we have a different functionality. Consider the following as, so child, what is the child, how to use it. So I have already set an example of this child class, and you will be see it's a body. Inside the body, and inside the body the child of body is called the p paragraph, and the child of paragraph is called a for the anchor. So this sign basically defined that this is the child of a body, and anchor is a child of paragraph, or anchor is a child of paragraph. So it applies only the easy IT solution, because inside the body it found the first priority of the paragraph, and inside the body here is a 3 paragraph, 1 2 3, and already if of course a 4 paragraph here, but it's only working or applies on the paragraph inside anchor inside the paragraph. So anchor the child of paragraph, and it's only one example here, however, that the paragraph anchor is a child of this paragraph. So it applies only easy IT solution here. The change colors in the green, so I just saved it, and you will see here there is a child selector, and it's a working here perfectly. So it's a body, and if I just remove here, you will see result here it applies on 4 paragraph basically. So I just refresh, and you will see it applies on this paragraph, because inside this we have overruled the CSS override the CSS rule that define already class defined here, and already this id defined here in this paragraph. So that's why it's overruled. We already overruled this CSS, override the CSS rule, so that's why it's works only for this. So we are just passing here a here, and the other thing, and the other version is called the attribute selector. So what is the attribute selector? You can also apply the styles to HTML elements with the particular attributes. The style rules below will be the match of the all input elements having a type of attribute. We already set an example here that the attribute, what is the attribute and how it's working. We just select an attribute input, and inside the input typed, and inside the type text. So we set here the input type text, and inside the text is set as color like this. It's I think is this color. So I just save it and refresh. You will see the inside the only text box here the color will be changed. And if I'm not wrong, I have just give you an example like here. I have just like here password, and you will see result now. It can't be working on the password because we have just used the attribute selector type a text, and if we are change here and then refresh, then you will see it's working on the password, the text type password, and not working our text. So here is the attribute of selectors, and the last thing is a group selectors. And what is the group selector? Grouping selectors. Basically, you can apply a style to many selectors if you like to just separate the selectors with a comma. As give you a following example here, we are grouping basically by using the comma and the three, h1, h2, and h3. And here we are currently used the h1 and h2. So we are just written on the write a code once and set a color this one as a green one. So you will see it only applies the h1 and h2. So this is a type of selector, and how it's work we are just seeing. This is another thing is important methods. So how to import and implement in CSS in your page, in your web pages. So embedded method, there are the three methods. It's called the embedded method and the outsource method and inline method. So here we see the embedded method already we are using in this. This is called this embedded method. We all CSS code written inside the style tag. So this is called the embedded method. And what is the another thing is what is the outsource method? What is the outsource? So I have just written a style sheet here. So here is the same thing, ID, grouping, and same thing. So okay, I will create it again for you. Like as we are using this method by using the outsource method on this style sheet. So we just create a new one and new CSS. Click at the new CSS here, and then we have just copied this one, and you will see this one copied. Okay, cut this and paste it to created our new CSS file here. Save it to my CSS. It's a save the my CSS. Okay, so now we are just take a look and how it's look like before, and it's a normal. Okay, without applying CSS, because we have just cut the all code here, and now we are using the outsource method. What is the outsource? So it's used with the link, and after link we have just hyper reference and browse them my CSS. And what is the type of CSS? Type text and CSS, and that's all. It's automatically import your code from my css.css page, and now we are just trying to, okay, sorry, so where is the mistake? It's a link. Okay, so here is the mistake. We had just set this type, but we are just set is the relation. So what is the relation? It's a style sheet. So it's a link hyperreference. We just add our file my CSS we have just created, and we have just passed the all code inside the my css.css, and now we are just link this file basically by using the relation style sheet. So we are just refresh this page, and you will see result. It's working. Selector.html. So this method is called the external, or we can the outsource method. And the third third one is the inline method. So what is the inline method? Okay, we are just remove this, and we are not using inside the h1. So in line method we are just type the style, and inside the style we define the color, the property, and then set a value to the property. So I just set this one, the red one, and now you will see the only effect appears on this line h1. So this is the inline method we are using here. So we see the important method, import the methods. What the methods are. So this is the third one method, and we have completed the three methods. It's embedded. We see the embedded. What's the embedded method? Outsource is called outsource or external method, and third one is the inline. So now we see the CSS, the measurements units. So it's a percentage sign, defines a measurement as a percentage related to another value typically, and enclosing elements. So like this is a percentage height, line height of 125 percentage, called the cm, is defined measurement in centimeters, em, x in millimeters, and like these all are the measurement units. So you will use one by one in your designing or CSS by yourself. So we are just go through this one, and now it's a CSS background. So what is the CSS backgrounds? Basically backgrounds are play an important role, like as and before we are using, I have just given some introduction about measurements. I think I've just skipped this. So why? So the before we are started any exercise, or we are said the CSS supports a number of measurements including the absolute, the units such as inches, centimeters, points, and so on. So as well relative measures such as a percentage and em units. You need to these values while specifying the various measurements here: style, rules, border, or width, height, line width, line height, or something else. So here is something important for using the measurements. If we are see the pixels, like as always use a pixel like as a font, or at the padding we are set as a pixels. So px for the pixels is mostly of use, and percent is mostly used inside the CSS, the percentage sign and the px sign, the pixels and the percentage sign. So that's why. And now we are moving to our backgrounds and backgrounds type of the background. This basically lecture teach you how to set the backgrounds of various HTML elements. So you can set the following background properties of an element. So the background color, the number one is the background color, the property is used to set the background color of an element. And the second thing is the background image. So the property is used to set background image of an element. Third one is the background repeat. So what's the background repeat? Basically the property is used to control the repetition of an image in your background. And the background position, the property is used to control the position of an image in the background. And the last one is the property is used to control the scrolling of an image in your background. So attachment is, and we see the results is what's exactly results and how it's a field. So the background property used to shorten and specify the number of backgrounds here. So we already set the example here, and we are background attachment. So we just run inside the Mozilla, and you will see I have already set here example, and inside the body I set a lot of the paragraph here. Because of that I just use a background fix attachment I have applied on this. That's why I use a lot of line that scroll. Either our background attachment is fixed with a fixed scrollment or not. So here is, so first of all the background image, I think it's a background color. So here is the background color. So I have just remove it and see the how it's work. inside the body. Yeah, it's important we select it inside the body. So this is a selector, and the property is a background color, and value is this red. So we are just trying. So you will see the background color appears. So in the CSS for property, okay. So before this I have just selection, toggle commit this, and the second thing is this, there it's a background image. So what's the background image? So we are just set as the background image by passing a URL, and then inside the burgers we just set a location of our background image. So now you will see the background image will appear here. It's a background image. I stretch this one basically. So I have just after this I fixed the property background attachment with the fixed value. So that's why I stretch this graphic design. So here is the background image. So we currently using easily using the background image with the property background image by using the property selection toggle command. The third one is the background repeat. So what is the background repeat? Let's suppose I have just changed image, this image, or browse and logo.png. okay, so now you will see this is only the one image, but the logo.png is a repetition many time. Yeah, it's a repetition many time because it's the width and height is not matched with my screen PC screens. That's why it's repetition. So the background repetition basically that repeat the following example to demonstrate you this example background repetition. Where's the back? Yeah, this example. So repeat the background of an image in the small, so you can no repeat value to the background. The repeat properties, if you don't want to repeat an image in case of image to display once, so you just set it the background repeat, no repeat. So now you will see result, it no repeat. It's in the original form, and it's not repeat more. So here's the background repeat property, basically the works. And the number that one, the set the background position. Yeah, it's a background position. So the set the background image of the position of the 1 pixels away from the left side. So it's left side 100 pixels away. So now you will see it's automatically make a distance from the left side corner from the 100 for the 100 pixels. So you will see here the background position. So here is set, used on center and 100 basically. So it's a top, I think. So and now you will see it's from the top side 100 and from the left side 100. So that's why the works property position, background position working like this. And the third one is, and the last one is the background attachment. So we have just comment this one by selection, also comment this one, and set our position same. For same image, because I have just used this property, so that's why I set this image so stretch here. And now you will see that we are just scrolling here, and our image will be scroll, and after using this it will be fixed. So we are just using here background attachment is a fixed. So now you will see it's a fixed, and we scroll down, but our image is fixed on our screen. So here's the background CSS backgrounds. So now we are see the image of fonts. So the fonts, basically in this method, or in this tutorial, in this chapter, we teach you to how to set a font of the content available in the HTML element. So you can set the following font properties of element, like the mostly in use the properties of font family, the font style, font variant, font weight, font size, and the font size adjustment. So the problem is this math. Sorry for guys for this. And so these all are the properties that are available in the font. So the font family property used to change the face of a font, and the second one, the font style property, used to make a font italic or an underline or something else. The font variant, third one, is the font variant property used to create a small caps effect. So what's the small caps effect? We have just seen, and we have just take introduction about this later. So font weight, what the font weight property used to decrease how bold light of font appears on your screen. And the font size property, the last one is there, the font size property is used to shorthand. This property used to increase or decrease the font size, basically. So these all are, and the last one we have just said, the font size adjustment. So the what's the font size adjustment? Basically set the following example here. We've just seen an example to how to set the font size adjustment element. So this property enables you to adjust the extra height to make the font more legible. So the possible value could be any number. So here, so we have just start our lecture. We have just font CSS font, yeah, exactly, and we have just click here to run in the Mozilla browser, and you will see here there is a normal font set, the font family and the font face and the by default colors using. So now we are one by one and see the what's the font family. So I have just set the font family here. It's a Gotham, and this one, it's guys automatically selected. So just remove it, just press the type the font family here, and after this pressing the control space, and you will see here the font families. So I have just select this one, and you will see result now. I have just it's larger than, and you will see it's changed. So now if we are just using another one like this, and now you will see here our font style, font face change, and it's changed. So this is working the font family. And the number second thing is the font style. So what is the font style? Like as I already told you before, there is a italic or underline or something. So now it's changed in italic. So it changed on italic. We are just simply type the font style italic. And other one you can use here from by pressing the control and space the oblique Q to the oblique. This is the oblique, and it doesn't work here basically. So it's italic or something. So we are using like this italic. And the number third thing is the font variant. So for what is the font variant? Is a small cap like this we are using for small caps, and you will see here the result of small caps. It's all font a little bit small, and it's all the caps form by using this property. You will see all forms the caps and is smaller. So this is the technique we are using, the small caps here. by using the font variant, font size, by adjusting the font like this. It's adjusting the size of your font. And the last thing is the file font size adjustment. So it basically the multiply. If I just trying here the one, so it's a multiply by the normal one, it's mean the normal. Or if I just set the 16, so by using the font size, the extra height, so give it the extra height, and the now font size is approximately the 160 pixels, because multiply from here to 16 multiply by 10 basically is a rest 10 times. So that multiply by 1, it means the 1.0, it means the 1 multiply by 10, so the font size will set at the 160 pixels here. So this is the font size adjustment here. So we have just seen the what's the fonts exactly working and what is the font inside this. And now we are moving to the CSS text. So what is the CSS text? So this lecture basically teaches you to how to manipulate the text using CSS properties. So you can set the following text property of an element. So this color, the color property used to set a color, the direction property used to set the direction, the letter spacing property used to add or subtract the space between the letters that make a word, and the word spacing between add or subtract. So these all properties now one by one we are just take an introduction about how it's work. So we are just click here, but I should be close the font one and the background and selector. I think these are done perfectly. So here the CSS. So now we take a look about what is the text and look like. So this is the text. We are just close the font one and this one. So this is the text, and now one by one we are just using these properties and the color with the, so we have just set a color of, so we have already set here the color is the color of the blue. So inside the body we have all elements just set the color of text like as a blue. When we are using the color, it means that it change only color of text. So here we see the results. So here we see the results that all text is changed into color the black to blue. And the second thing is here the direction property used to the set text direction. So we are just using the text RTL direction, basically two directions, RTL and LTR. LTR for the left hand side, RTL for the right hand side. So now you will see our text move from left side to the right side here, and you will see it's a right side. Basically it's not alignment, it's only from the right hand side, starting the letter from the right hand side. Let's suppose we are using in our Microsoft Word or something else. So set when we are set a direction from the right hand side, so it's starting writing letters alphabetically letters from the right side. So that's why it's the right side, it's a direction. But alignment and direction is something, it's a difference in between two things. So here's that alignment also, where text align property is used to align the text of document. The direction property is used to set the text direction. So here's the difference in between the two things. So here, and the second thing is the letter spacing. So what is the letter spacing? We just set a letter spacing of 5 pixels, and now I've just removed this one, or this selection, the toggle block comment, or just I've just set it to the left side, and you will see now inside the space inside the word, inside the letter spacing, it means after this letter is spaced the 5 pixels. So that's why it's, and if I select here to the 3 pixels, so it's decrease here, you will see the decrease here. And if I using here a 13 pixels, so it increase the spacing between the letters. So it's increased our the letter spacing and word spacing and letter spacing, basically two different things. It increase the space between the word letters but not the word. So this is the word, this is the word, and this is the letter. So here, and now if we are just comment this section and the same, we are just word spacing. So you will see here sorry, the letter spacing I have just wrong demonstrated you. So the letter spacing in between the letters and word spacing, so my mistakes are, I'm really sorry. So word spacing in between the word space, this is the one word and this is the one word, this space inside in between the words. So if I just set it the 10 pixels, so it applies on the word. Inside the word letters is not space, any space, other space, but in between the word it's space more larger. So here is the thing. And the text indentant. So the text indentant, what is the text indentant? So text indentant basically a technique to show the how to indent the first line of paragraph. The possible values are in percentage or in number, specifying indent the text here. So now we see the result here. Just we comment this, just comment for this, that we have just taken a proper look of this property basically, and you will see it's just be leave a margin from the left side. So 1 am, or if we are just set as a 5 am, so it's just start from here, not start from the alphabetically, we start not start from here. So it's just set a margin from the left hand side to start your application, or like as a letters or and other things. So text indentation, this is the function basically of text indentation. Alignment is a text alignment to the center. It's not start from the right hand side or left hand side, it's just centered. And if we are just set here the right here, so our text alignment should be on the right side, but it starts always from the left hand side when we are just typing. So this is the difference in between the direction and the text alignment. So here we just commented. And what is the text decoration? Inside the text decoration property used to underline, overline, or strike through text. So we are just take a look. We have set the text decoration underline, and you will see the underline, all text will be underlined. And if we are just set in other example like the overline, and you will see the overline the text. So we set it very easily. So underline, line through, so it's line through is like as a cancelled or deletion of any line through. So these is decoration, text decoration. And number other thing is a text transform property used to capitalize the text, convert text upper or lower cases. And now you will see that I just write this text, just saved. So I have just said this text basically the some word in the capitalized and other than small alphabetically. So now we are convert this so very easily by using the text transform to capitalize. Capitalize means that every word, the first letter of every word should be a capitalized. So now you will see here is I is not capitalized here, by the B in the by B's are not capitalized here. So when I just refresh it automatically capitalize, the first letter of every word should be capitalized. So this is this property basically working this at the capitalized. So if I just want to uppercase, so just set property the uppercase, and now you will see the all text should change to the uppercase, and if I just set the lowercase, and now you will see the all text in the lowercase here. So it's a really very easy to use that the lowercase or something is it's very much interesting text transform. And the other thing is text. We'll just comment this one because we are just using a text shadow. This is the really very important property here basically. So the text shadow basically shows to how to set the shadow around the text. So this may not be supported by the all browsers, but it's quite good. So this one, the first one we have just seen, the first one, and second one, what's that these values are basically and what is working. So we are just set is the 1 5 5 5 and red. Of course this is the color. We have just creating a shadow of our text, but what these property we are change one by one and see the result of what exactly these are properties. So now you will see it's text shadow, a red color shadow of our property. So this one basically, if we are just said that this one is a 0 pixels here, so this is the horizontal or of edge offset basically from the right side, from the left side to the right side. So there's a horizontal our of offset. So second thing, if we are just change here, so it's a vertical I think, and we are just if we are just set as 0, so you will see here that it's a vertical, not the from top to down, and it's a behind our text, so it's not look like as a shadow. So that's why we are set here. And third one is the blur, and if we are just make it 0, so you will see that our text, so the blur text will be appear very clearly, and it's not working. So because we are just set 0, so we have must be select the 1 pixels, that's why. And if we are just set it down like as I show you an example that what exactly is working here, so you will see here. So the text of shadow in the red color, it's not a blur, so that's why we set just properties of 1, but if we are just set property is 2, so you will see is more blur than this like as this. And if we are set as the 5 here, so it's completely blurred. It's a completely blurred. So this is the text shadow. Basically this property is the horizontal, this is a vertical position, this is the polar radius, and this is the color for text shadow. So here is this. And the last one is the white spaces. So white spaces we are use just free here, and now you will see the spaces inside the text, inside the line paragraph. So white spaces, these called the white spaces, not the break a line or just set a paragraph or the blank paragraph here. So this is we are just controlling this by technique, by using this technique, control the spaces by using this technique. So here is this. So now we are moving our another next slide, and it's next slide, it is a using an image. So inside the CSS, images play an important role. So the images play an important role in any web page. Though it is not recommended to include a lot of images in your web pages, but it is still important to use a good images whenever you required. So the CSS play a good role. Control images display. You can set the following images property using the CSS. So some useful property of images: the width, height, border, and opacity. That's a really very important here. So now we take a look and how it's look like. So image using, yeah, exactly. So we just close the CSS text here, and now we are just using image, open in browser, and you will see I have just set my logo here, and Yeah, exactly. And how it's like we control them. So first of all, we are just see the what is the width. So by using the width property, I have just used a child selector here. From inside the body, it's child selector image. Image is a child selector, child of the body image. So inside the body, here is the body, and inside the body we are just controlling image tag img. So I have just used sorry, okay, I have just set it down. So I have just control in the first line the width only of the image. I have just uh, set it the 350 pixels here, and now you will see the 350 pixels. So if I set here the height, so I have just height, and you will see here it height automatically adjusts 300 pixels basically. So we have just seen the width and height function. The what's the border? So border of basically image, and for this time I have just revert this. For this time, the no any border in my pic image logo image on inside the border of my logo. So here I just set it the border here, and you will see I just hide this one, and this is the border. So if I just select the 1 pixel, so you will see a 1 pixel border, but it's not defined what the color of border. So here's the color. I've just set it the red color, but not because the style must be select a style of border, and like as a we says a thick 1 pixel border here. Why does it work? Okay, so first of all we have just selected design, and second thing we just select a color, and third things we just select the our value of our border. And you will see here it's a dash border, and if we are just change here from dash to dotted, and you will see result is the dotted border. And if I select here the thick, it's a thick is not working basically. It's working on I think our text form, or it's not working. So we are just select the dash. If we set the double here, you will see, yeah, exactly, it's a double. So here's the border properties, and we are changing. And now it's a very important, it's really important, the opacity. So the what is the opacity? Opacity is used to set opacity of an image basically. So now we see the result is here, and if we are just set opacity here, and I just uncomment this one to just show you the result, and now you will see result. If we are just set here the 0.05, it means the 50% opacity we are using, and you will see that our image is lighter. So if we are just select the 3 is a 30% opacity, so you will see our image is more lighter there, and it's a 2 here, so more light. And if we are using 1, it's 100% opacity. So 1 is not necessary to use, it's a by default value is 1. So we must be using 0.6 like is this the 60% opacity. So this controls the opacity of your image. So here we are just complete, and now we are going to move our borders. So borders are really very important inside the CSS. So the borders table, borders, there are the three properties of a borders. You can change the border bottom, top, left, and the right. Basically, the borders properties allows you to specify how to border the box or the border of the box or representing an element. So how it should be looked. So there are the three properties as I discussed you, the bottom, top, and right. And here's the properties are this is the borders, the bottom, top, right, and left. So the four bottom you know, there's the directions, and this is the three properties: the border style, the border width, and the border color. So the border style is a soiled, dotted, dashed, double, groove, ridge, inside, outside, hidden. As I already shown you in this image, that this is the double border or dotted border, or so these all are the borders. So we have just set here the borders, positioning. So border style, yeah, exactly, I have just set it this for you, that this is the pixel, the border in line, the style, the styles of border. So the border style specifies the whether the border should be soil, dashed line, double line, or on one line, or other the possible value. So here is an example. I have just set the all style of the borders basically. So now we have just taken a look of the borders, and you will see here I have set the all borders, possible borders here. This is the soil border, this is the dash border, this is the double border, this is the groove border, this is the edge, this is inside, this is the outside, this is the hidden border, and this behavior, the four different border. Upper side is the solid, right side is a double, and bottom side is a dashed, and left side is the groove. So here you see that the inside of the last one, the border, four border, is the border top style solid, and bottom is a dashed, left a groove, and right is a double, as I already told you. So this is the basically usage of the borders here. Solid data, I've set all border types here. About the border width and border color, I have set it this also. The bottom border, I have just set the color is red, and the second one I have dashed color the blue, and the third one I said the right side color is a green, and left side groove, the left side I have just set the yellow color. So how it's used and how it's worked you will see, and it's a very easy to the border bottom color. As I already told you here that the borders are changed, you can change the border, and the borders are bottom, top, left, and right, the four types of border. So I have just written here the same thing is the border bottom color, and the second one is the border top color, and third one the bottom right color, and the fourth one the border left color. So here the set I have example already set example of the borders. So here's the all borders, and this is the none width, the border with none width. So here I have just said what is the width of the border. I have shown you, I have just, so this is the border width. I have the first one, I have just the width border width border style none, and this is the border width basically. So if I have just changed this one from the 10 pixels, so you will see result is a border much more larger. Yeah, it's a much more larger, the first one the border. So this is the width, and we can control through the CSS the border width. So this is the CSS borders and plays important role inside this. And now we are just going to set the margins. Oh, this is the really important topic, and it's really very much, you know, the complicated topic, the borders, to understand margins basically. The margin property defines the spaces around the HTML element. It's possible to use a negative value to overlap the content. So the margin property defines spaces around the HTML, so negative overlap the content. The four properties of the margin here.
And the value of the margin property are not inherited by child elements. So remember that the adjustment, the vertical margins top will be collapsed into each other, so that the distance between the blocks is not a sum of the margins but only the crater of the two margins or the same size, or one is of both are equal. So we can define in detail understand when we are just see our margin proper margin, and this is the margin, and we are more understand when just take introduction, and you will see here the introduction about the margin. As I told you, the margin defines the spaces around the HTML element, and this is the HTML body around the HTML. All four margins will be a 15 pixels. Top and bottom margin will be 10 pixels. Right and right margin will be 2% of the total width of document. Top margin will be the 10 pixels. Left and right margin will be 2, and the bottom margin will be the minus 10 pixels. So here we see just set the margin of the 15 pixels, and if I just set it the 25, so you will see here from the left side, it's left side and top side, all sides it's defined from the 25 pixels here. This one, basically this property, if I just written one value, it combines the totally four sides, adjust the four sides, basically the left side, bottom, right, and top, right, bottom, and left. So this is and the top value. And if we are set the separately, so this is the top one, 25 start from the top, and then the right side, and we are just set the 25 pixel right, 5 pixel right, we have just set margin, and bottom we have 10 pixels minus 10 pixels bottom, and left side we have set a 0 pixels. And now you will see here result, it's set from the left hand side because we set the left and the 0, and bottom is a minus 10, and up is the, and just if I set it to the upper side, top side, the 0 pixels, so it automatically adjusts the size to up. Yeah, it will see it's the up side here because it's a left, and up is a 0. Right from the right side is to 5 pixels here, 5 pixels here. Right side from right, and minus 10 is from the downside. And if I just set the minus the plus 10 pixels, so it will automatically adjust from the bottom side here, and you will see the bottom side here. So this is the margins and how it's the work. You will see here the margin, and this is a really very important topic. So the margin properties allows you to set the all properties, the four margins, that one declaration here, the syntax, the margin here, the paragraph, and you will see and practice on the margin more and more, so you will understand what exactly working and what is the difference between the margin and padding. So the next topic is our paddings. Yeah, it's a really very important, also important that the CSS paddings. So the paddings properties allows you to specify how much spaces should appear between the content of an element and its border. So here's the two different things, that the margin definition, the margin property defines spaces around the HTML element, but the padding property allows you to specify how much spaces should appear between the content of an element and its border. So it's a really very important thing, you know, that padding is a really very much important. So, and the padding bottom specifies the padding bottom is the bottom of the padding an element, top is specified the top of padding is element. So the padding property, the value of this attribute should be either the length of percentage or the word inherit. So if the value is inherit, so it will be have a same padding as a padding element. So if a percentage use, the percentage is the containing to the box. So here we see and understand how it's work, and
and you will see here, this is the margins. Basically these all are out from the element, and this is the padding inside the border, but it can't be, to just change the margins here because it's set from the 0 margin. Padding inside the box and margin the outside the box control. So if I set here the 25% pixels, so you will see here the size of box can change, but the borders are not changed, because the change, if we are using the margin, then the border change. And if we are just set here like as a margin, and we are set 10 pixels here, so you will see result here, it moves from this, and the box will not appear. So sorry, and you will see here the difference. This is the all from side left, up, right and down. The margin set the 10 pixels. So this is the main difference in between the margin and paddings. So this is the padding and padding properties. So the CSS following for the padding, and the programmer of the CSS programmers are much guide us to just use the padding and the margin usage in our CSS. So this is the very much important thing. And this is the list. Yeah, exactly, this is a list. And list, what a list. So here also I use a list. This is the list, basically this and inside this, these are all type of the list. So the list is very helpful for conveying the set of the either number bulleted points. So this chapters teach you how to control the list type, positions, style, and by using the CSS. It's a very easy. We have a 5 CSS property to control the list. It's a list style type, list style position, list style image, and list style and the marker offset. So here I already set an example for you. I just close this one, just close this margin one, and here's the list. So first of all, we have just seen tag introduction, and we have just display in this browser, and you will see here this is the list. List 1, list and square. In the this is circle, square, number, capital, alphabetical, and the small Roman. And this is the inside the list the child list inside the main list. This is the number. And the last one thing is it's my own defined image by using list. So here I have just shown you that lecture inside the lectures and inside the image. Yeah, this is the bullet I have just set in my Microsoft Paint here. So I have just set inside the CSS. So how it works, so let's go and just see. And the list, second thing is list. Yeah, exactly. So these are the possible list or values. The dis key, disk is the default value in the field on the circle. Circle is an empty circle, is square the field in square. Decimal numbers and decimal leading from 0 to this, like this, lower alpha, upper alpha, lower Roman, lower Greek, or something else. These all possible types of the list type of that we have used our list type here. So list type is circle, and list type is square, decimal, upper alpha. Like this, we have just changed this upper alpha to the lower alpha. So like we simply change here lower alpha. Okay, so now you will see result here. This alphabetically should be changed from A, B, C, capital to the small one. And okay, so the lowercase. So this is the basically work, and these all possible we are just set for you. So just trying yourself and see the result here. So I have just show you the list of possible value of list. So here the Hebrew Armenian, Georgian, and the more possible then. So this is the list, and list are really very important, play an important role in our. So the next thing is a custom cursor. Yeah, exactly. The what's the CSS. So the cursor property of the CSS allows you to specify the type of cursor that should be displayed on to the user. So the one good usage of this property using image as submit button of the form. By default, when a cursor hover to the link, so the cursor change from the pointer to the hand. However, it does not change from the submit button on a form. So there is a really good thing, and there is therefore the whenever someone hovers over the image, that the submit button is provided visual clue to image clickable. So here we see, and first of all we are just seeing the one good usage this property is changed to the pointer. So we are just seeing here the cursor types here, the auto, crosshair, default, pointer, move, eastern resize, northeast resize, northwest resize, north, southeast, southwest, southwest, text, wet, help, and a custom URL. So I have just set an example for you here, the cursor. Okay, so here's the all possible cursor. I have the move mouse over the words and see the cursor change. So cursor type auto, value auto, property cursor, crosshair, cursor default, cursor pointer, cursor move, and all property I have used shown in this image basically. So now we are just see how it's look like. So just going to here, open browser, Mozilla, and you will see it's a word. Move the mouse over the word and see the cursor image. It's auto. Okay, auto is the text. It's a crosshair. You will see it's changed the behavior of, and it's a default. It's a pointer. It's a move. It's a eastern resize, northeast resize, northwest, north, southeast, southwest resize, southwest. It's a text again. It's a wet. And it's a help. You will see it's changed the behavior the all here to possible cursor. So cursors we are just using inside our the CSS by using to show our customer or end users. So you should try yourself to only these value to add helpful information for the user, and places there would be accept the C of the cursor. For example, using crosshair when someone hovers a link and then confuse a visitor. So crosshair is not used for link basically. The pointer used for link. So here is the important thing, and we see the cursor, what is the cursor and how it's work in our CSS with the help of CSS. So number thing is a visibility. So what is the visibility? A property called the visibility allows you to hide an element from the view. You can use this property along with the JavaScript to create a very complex menu and a very complex web pages layout. So the three value we set to our visibility is one is the visible, second is the hidden, and third one is the collapse. So this is the visibility, and we are just using here. Just give me 1 second. Sorry for this guys. So the visibility, so you can choose to use visible property to hide an error messages that are only displayed if your user needs to see them, or hide any answers of the quiz until the user select an option. So remember a note, remember that the source code will still contain whatever is an invisible paragraph. So you should not use this to hide sensitive information such as the credit card details, password details, or a password. So the visible property can take a value listed a table as follows: the visible, hidden, and collapse. And now we see the example of this one, and so visibility here. Yeah, and I have just set a 2 paragraph here inside the body and used and the one on the second paragraph inline CSS by type style and visibility hidden. So you will see that this paragraph should be visible in the normal way, but this paragraph should not be visible here. So we have just trying here result.
So just the Mozilla and the Mozilla Firefox. Here you will see here the paragraph should be visible in the normal way, and here is the second one is not visible either, is written in the property in the paragraph, but we are just set the visibility here. So if we are just cut them and save it, and now you will see the second paragraph will appear. So the visibility, use this type of visibility, and it's hidden for just hidden something for some time. But when we are trying to inspect them, you will see here that this paragraph should not be visible here basically. So that's why I've already told you that you will be not use or such type of sensitive information such as the credit card details or password, because this, if someone inspect this page, so he will easily understand and read your message or something else. So here is hidden property. We are just, and the second and the other thing is the positioning. So what is the positioning? So CSS helps you to position your HTML elements. You can put any HTML elements or whatever location you like. So you specify whatever you want to element position, relative or its normal natural position, and the page absolute based on its apparent element. So now we will see the all CSS positioning related the property with the example here. So there are the three types of relative position, absolute position, and a fixed position. So the absolute and fixed are like the same work, the both work are same, but it's a quite little bit change in the property. But the relative is a totally change here. So relative position change the position of element relative to where it's normally appears. So we will more understand when we are just set an example here. The position here, we are just CSS border style, cursor, visibility, list, image using, and we are not, it's the link here, so we are just cover the links. The next up in the positions here. So here the positions, and we have just set here, I have just shown you this is okay. So this is this example basically the position relative left side from 0 top from. We are just using the two types of visibility position, basically the top and left. So for the left one, if I just set the minus value, so it considers for the right position, and if I consider the bottom and the top and the minus, so it considers the bottom value. So now we just see here the what the result this div is the relative positioning. So here I just set just save it and going to the browser here. So this is the relative of the div, and 1 minute. So this example is a div has a relative positioning. So we are just see here the relative position, and here's the relative position change the position of an HTML element relative where it is normally appears, left 20 pixels to the element of left position. You can use two values, top and left, along with the position property to move an HTML element anywhere in HTML document. So move left, use negative value of left, move right, use positive value of left. Okay, so move up, negative value of top, and move down, use a positive value of top. So this is the basically technique to use the div. So now we are just change here our from div, it's a from the 10 here and the top 10 here, and you will see now the result. It's a move from left and up, and when we are just set it's the minus here, so it moves from down to up. So I have written here use a negative value
for left. No, this is the wrong I think here. So I think the CSS use the negative move. Yeah, it's a right, use negative value to just move from the left to right. So this is the right I think. So okay, so this is the relative position, and other thing is the position. We are just set it down, set it the comment here, and the second example here is position absolute. So now you will see here example is a position absolute. So it's an absolute position. It's not depends on all of our area. It's just set our area. So it's only whether our text is end or either the text is the value of our text, length of our text basically. So that is, and now if we are just same apply procedure here is the absolute and element absolute, you can use two values as the same thing like this, same things like this. And now if we are just move here from 10th left and 10 from the top, so you will see the same results, 10 from the top, and it's the 100 from left side and 10 from the top. So it's 100 from left side, 10 from the top, and 100 from top and 100 from. So you will see here, and if I just say that the 100 from top and 100 from left, so just I use this one 10 minus, so it doesn't change this position basically, but it changed this position, and this will be on the upper side. So this is the basically position of absolute, and the fixed are the same thing as the position of your absolute or something else. So you can use fixed with your, you can use fixed by using yourself. So just take an example introduction for, and the last one is a CSS layers. So CSS gives you an opportunity to create a layers for a various divisions. So CSS refers to applying the z-index property to elements that overlap with each other. So the z-index property used along with the position property create effect of the layers. So you can specify which element should be come on the top and which element should come on the bottom. So a z-index property can help you to create a more complex web page layouts. Following is example of a CSS layers. So how to create a layers in CSS. So here I have just created the div. Here is a three divs, one, second, and third div. I've used the inline CSS property here, and I'll just set a background color as z-index, set a z-index 2, position relative, and position relative, because I have already told you that the relative position is an element HTML position of the HTML relative where it normally appears. So the position change the position of an element, but the attribute absolute position is position specified the content coordinates relative to your screen top left corner. So you can use to basically, this is the difference between the and the position in between the relative and absolute. So here we use the relative position because it's changed the position of an HTML element. It's not a coordinate, so that's why. Okay, so that property of element the overlap with each others. So now I will show you that the result, the background light color 300 pixels width, height 300 pixels, and every we have just set the relative, but we have just set the top and the left position. We have just changed. Here top is a 10 and the left is 60, and here the left is 220. It means it's a right side, from the right side to the left side, and from sorry, it's a top used for the from top to the bottom, and this is the top from like this is the gap in between this border, and it's the 10 pixels, and like this is the bottom, the minus value is from the bottom to the top, so relative. And the number is layers, it's a main property layers, it's a CSS Z index basically. So here the Z index is the first one is the downside, and from this is the upper side here, and it should come to the bottom and at the top. So the CSS3 change CSS index 3, just sorry for disturbance, was call from my head office, so that's why. Okay, so here Z index set 1, it means it's a bottom side, or it's a backward side, and Z index 2, it's a, so okay, I will show you the result, so it can't be understand like this, so I will show you the result and you will be more understand, and now you will see here. So this is called the layers, and basically the yellow one the Z index 1, and red one Z index 2, and this one Z index 3. So we will see here the yellow one is a Z index like this, I will told you before, red one the Z index 2 and 3. And if we are just reverse them, that just type the Z index 1 and Z index 3 from the yellow, and now it the front in our front side, and you will see here the yellow is the front, and the red in the between, and green in the backward. So this is basically the layers, and it's working. And if I change the position from relative to absolute, so you will see result, it can't work here. So it totally hide this, because I have set the absolute and relative position, it's used for an element, HTML element around, that's why it's working. So layer like this. So congratulations, you have completed CSS beginners course. Thanks for watching and subscribe our channel. So, and inshallah I will upload in the end of this month the CSS advanced, and our beginner course is complete CSS. So hope you will enjoying this video, and after watching this and complete the all documentation, you will be in a good hand to just CSS. And another thing, I already told you that important thing, the game is ideas, not the programming. So how you are good in programming, it doesn't work, but how you are good in ideas, it can't, it's a more you know the impact of your designing. So if you have a better idea, so we provide a way how you will be achieve your goal. So keep practice on much and more, so you will be learn. Okay, Allah Hafiz.